Psychology in chess. That's what we're talking about today. So I have 22 games here from my 42nd day on my journey to 2000. Played 22 games today. And the psychology of how you feel and who you're versing and stuff like that really affects your play, and we're going to see that here. I wrote down all the accuracy levels for each of these games. I wrote that down. I wrote down if I won, if I lost, if I had a draw. Actually, I've been drawing a lot more recently, so I've become better at recognizing when I'm losing to go for a draw, you know? I think that's a very important thing, and my opponents have been as well. So in this, we have 11 wins, 6 losses, and 5 draws. But 3 of those losses were in a row, and the other 3 were in a row too. So I lost, and then I lost 2 more games right afterwards. 2 times that happened. The first game was a win, though. I got into this really good position, and then I kind of screwed it up because he could simplify, and the game continues. Still looks really good for me. My best move, apparently, wasn't moving my rook there, and I considered this move. It was to move the rook here. And the idea is, let's assume that his queen just goes to a random place. I could start putting a lot of pressure on his... I think in one line I could even sack the rook or something, but I could put a lot of pressure on his position. So, whatever, I didn't do that. Again, first game of the day, right? I don't do that. I just trade. I try to get into this position, and actually, by him taking, he blunders because of stuff that we're not going to go over because I don't really see it, and I don't think we don't have to go over it. The point is, I get into this really nice position. I purposefully have my rook kind of attacking his queen, and once he pushed that pawn forward, I knew I had a chance. And like, this just looks winning. I have 54 seconds left, okay? 54 seconds. Will I win? I'm trying to put all my pieces in, trying to get in, and I correctly recognize that I shouldn't be going for another queen. It will take too long. So I bring the bishop, and this is mate in 2 moves, right? And he resigns, or she resigns. So that's amazing, right? I win my first game. Feels great. I had low time, but I got the dub. Also, I had 74% accuracy. The second game, I should have left it where it was, because I don't want to show the whole game. I don't think it's necessary. But the second game here, we were in this position, and I was winning. And the game was going a little bit back and forth, but it was more or less the same. It was a really tough game, a lot of thinking. Like, this is 30 moves in, which isn't that much, but... And I come in with this check. I'm thinking of this check, but for whatever reason, I don't do it. The reason why this check is really good is if he goes here, it just looks crazy, because it is. This is a mating pattern. You could mate here. You're just forcing his king back, and what's the mate? F6, and then you take the queen, right? So that's some crazy stuff. The other way, if he goes the other direction, there was, I think, yeah, you just come here. And let's say he tries to go for this checkmate or something. You could actually just completely demolish him. And again, there's like a mating pattern over here. Whatever. Okay, I don't do that. Instead, I bring my queen here, disallowing my rook to get to the last rank. Whatever, that's fine, right? And it's kind of an even game, and boom! I'm thinking, I'm pinning this rook. He can't move, which is true, right? If he takes, I take. First of all, I recognize my mistake, because this doesn't even work. I still lose my queen. Okay, so it was just a really bad move. But second of all, I hang mate. I hang mate in 1. Like, come on. At this rating, I shouldn't be doing that. So after that intense game, right? And I have 5 minutes left on the clock, and I'm in a shitty attitude. So I go into the next game, and keep in mind, all 3 of these games, all 3 of these first games, I have 74% accuracy. So it's like, I'm not playing worse necessarily. It's just the psychological shift for 1 or 2 moves. Like here, if I just saw the mate threat, maybe I would have played it differently, right? And maybe it would have turned into a different type of game. Well, here, it's a little more complicated, and he's pushing his pawn, and I'm supposed to put more resources towards defending the pawn. I don't do that. And he goes for trading. I recognize I need my queen. But his queens are pretty far from my king. Maybe I could do something. And I got lucky. I am able to do something. I give up my rook because I recognize that I could come here and just go back and forth, and I get perpetual checkmate if he pushes this pawn forward. I recognize that, and if he doesn't, I just go back and forth. So I start doing this. I mess up. I mess up because this is the proper way to do it, And honestly, this is a little hard to see for my small brain, but the point is I'm not allowing him to pass the line where his queen could come into the position. But, okay, fine, I missed that. My opponent also misses it. Goes to the side, and I go back and forth. I just keep checking him, and he finally pushes the pawn. I see the draw. I go back and forth, and then I get cocky. I get cocky because I see pawns, and I think, oh, I could take all his pawns. What does this do for me? It does nothing. Instead, it allows him to escape. The saddest part is, he messaged me and said, bro, just go for the draw. He offered a draw, and he messaged me and said, go for the draw. He's like, isn't this a draw? And he's rated 1494, so I'm thinking in my stupid brain, yeah, I should be able to win, when the position clearly says no. And I just keep checking him. I realize my mistake, but I'm just futilely, like, trying to do something, and that's it. Like, I end up losing. I think, I'm like, oh, look at all my pawns. Maybe I could do something. No, I can't. And I end up losing this game. Okay? Now, game number 4, you could imagine how annoyed I was. I have a hanging knight. I ignore the hanging knight. This is such a simple mistake. I ignored for a second move in a row. This I didn't really ignore. I was thinking, where could it go? And I didn't really see a spot for it. And I saw this move, but I didn't think it was good because I thought, what do I do after this? Apparently, I guess this is winning because I could take the bishop and it redirects the queen away, allowing me to capture the knight. So I don't do any of that stuff. I take the bishop, but I allow my knight to hang, and he takes it rightfully. I'm just playing super terribly. And look at how the game develops, and I just get checkmated very easily. This I played 56% accuracy, just terrible. This is 75% accuracy, right? I'm just mentioning the accuracy because it might be interesting. So at this point, I won my first game. I lost the next 3 games, right? I had a bad attitude from the first one. Second one, the guy offered me a draw. And the third one, I just completely blundered a full knight very easily. So what happens in this next game? I'm completely demolishing my opponent, but I'm still overthinking. I'm trying, I'm not always in a bad mood, but I think it psychologically, like, goes on to you. Because even if you're in a good mood and you think you're calculating and stuff, I feel like you still overthink stuff, at least for me. And I just do this stupid move. Well, it's not... maybe it was a little hard to see. My best option here, I have a rook and a rook. He has... I'm basically... I have a rook for a bishop, I think, right? And or something. His king is not defended. If we look at the analysis, I'm just completely winning. I'm up a piece. I'm up a full rook, essentially. So my best bet here was to trade everything. Just simplify, right? When you're winning, you should simplify, especially your king is safe, all this stuff. I'm trying to do threats, again, with this stupid idea that the bishop can't move. Just like the other game. The rook can't move, so I'm pinning it. Yeah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. It's still supporting the queen. And this just, he gets a perpetual check on me. Now, although that was annoying, it felt good not to lose 3 games in a row, right? I didn't lose a 4th game in a row. It felt good not to lose a 4th game in a row, rather. And so the next game I play is a Scotch, which I like and I'm pretty decent with. And it gets into this weird position, and I recognize that he wants to fianchetto. If he fianchettos, that's it. I'm winning. I won. And he fianchettos. And I'm like, oh my god, this is beautiful. I can't screw this up. I go with the knight move because I'm threatening to take the queen, so he can't take my bishop. But that's his best move. His best move is to take, because after takes, he's going to get my rook too. He doesn't do that. And look at this position. It's just brutal. My opponent resigns after like 10 moves. I played like a 23-50, right? That win with 99% accuracy made me feel really good. Made me feel so good that the next game I'm playing, it's a very even game, but I play solidly. I play well, time-wise. And my opponent messes up because at a certain point I could come in with this check and trade, and I have this pawn that pushes on the H file. So I recognize I do the counting, right? 1, 2, 3. For people who don't know the trick, 1, 2, 3, 4. My pawn is 4 steps away from making a queen, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So I basically make a square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If the king is in my square, he's gonna catch me. If not, that's just how math works because of diagonals and stuff. If not, I'm fine. So I recognize that if I push my pawn towards this pawn and he starts going for it like this, I have free reign to just promote. So that's what I do. And the position is pretty much lost. He promotes to a knight, which I take anyway, because whatever. And whatever, I nicely just clean away the game. Play like a 1900, right? 87% accuracy. So obviously that it made me feel good. I took advantage of a blunder like that, and that's it. This game, I'm the one that screws up. I didn't know how to break through the position. I thought about it a lot. Apparently in this position, you could come here because if he takes, you lose the queen. If he takes like this, his knight is really annoying and powerful. You get rid of it. And actually, again, he can't take. He can't take because he loses his queen. So I didn't recognize all this. I played more passive. I brought my rook to defend like this in case there's more pressure on my b7 pawn. I didn't want to push it forth because I didn't want the knight to come in. I wanted this c pawn to be really strong against the knight. Whatever. Because of that move and following moves, I kind of mess up. So I recognize I don't know how to progress, and I just go for this draw. So it ends up in a draw, which is funny because my opponent was winning. But I played with 81% accuracy. The point is, like, I'm making smarter or better decisions, maybe subconsciously or whatever. And because I had that 199% accurate game, it felt like. And I had the draw that saved me before that. So I don't want to create patterns where or like correlation doesn't mean causation, whatever, but like there's definitely an aspect of like if you lose a couple games in a row, maybe take a break. Because even if you think yourself that you're doing okay, maybe you're not. This was a crazy game. I was completely winning. I just have an extra piece. I have, I can create a passed pawn. I did not know how to turn this into a win. This is so cool. So apparently this works because the rook still protects the b2 pawn. My knight is protected, and my knight's going to come in to e2, and it's going to be really annoying for my opponent. I don't see that. Instead, I move the rook over. He checks. I move the king. He checks, and I blunder. I blunder this pawn, and the game changes. It's so interesting, though, because this leads to a mate. This is mate. My opponent has to sack the rook, and then it just leads to mate anyway. Just moving the rook back and forth and then delivering checkmate, because the kings look at each other. So cool, so cool. I didn't recognize it. I made that mistake. It happens, right? So I didn't see the win, but I go for the draw because I recognize that this pawn is very annoying to deal with, and if I keep attacking the rook, he has to stay on this line. He can't come here because of the knight. It just seems like a really good. And if I could trade off my rook even for the pawn, I'm closer to this. I can promote. My intuition was right, and then go for the draw. Yeah, I should have won, but went for the draw. Okay. Next game, crazy game, but I do win. I play with 70% accuracy, so I play worse. Maybe because I expected the win. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. But I basically simplify the position to bring my queen into this unstoppable checkmate. And my opponent resigns. So that felt really, really good. That's 10 games in. After those 10 games, we only lost 3 of those games. Okay, the 3 games we lost were game 2, 3, and 4. And 3 and 4 were kind of because of 2. Well, what happens in this game? Well, the opening looks fine. This is just a regular scotch. Okay, maybe I didn't make the best move. Okay, he's attacking. We're trading. I'm feeling... It's an even game, but I'm feeling good because his king feels open. But he makes it active. It's kind of an endgame already, which is very smart. He undoubles his pawns. He has 2 center pawns, and I'm starting to worry a bit. I don't play this well. I don't play this well. He gets his pawn to push. I'm trying to go for perpetual, and I'm getting pissed off. I'm like, how did I lose this game? How did I lose? I just completely lost this game. And I did. I completely lose the game, and I get mated, and that feels like shit. Also, look at this. I had 1950 rating. My opponent had 2400. My opponent played with 97.1% accuracy. No inaccuracies, no mistakes, no misses, no blunders. I checked out their profile. They looked legit. I only checked it out like during the review before this recording. When I was playing, I didn't check out their profile. I looked at this number and I was like, are you freaking kidding me? This guy is cheating. I think he's cheating. That's what I thought in my mind. What happens the next game? I play pretty accurate, 83% accuracy, But what happens? I mess up. Okay? I mess up and I fall for such a stupid fork. I fall for a fork. And where do I mess up? I mess up right here. And the idea is that after takes, this is an idea I'm only learning more recently, so I'm not gonna fault myself for not seeing it right now. But the idea is when the pawn takes, he's attacking my knight, and when my knight moves out of the way, I lose my bishop. And if I want to attack his queen, he could take again. This pawn is just like the ultimate pawn, because after takes, he just like takes 4 or 5 pieces, and I have to worry about my bishop, right? It's just terrible. So instead of that, my opponent doesn't see that, so I get lucky, and I take with the knight. And okay, makes sense. Now I get my knight to safety, and okay, this is all fine. I'm trying to get closer into the position. I recognize that this is a potential fork down the road, but it's down the road. So down the road happened. Down the road happened, and one mistake can cost you the game. And that was my mistake that cost me the game. I kept fighting, but at the end of the game, I lost. And it doesn't feel good to lose 2 games in a row. But you know what's even worse? Losing a 3rd game in a row, playing 82.9% accuracy in a drawn position. Here I had 79% accuracy, and I was pissed. Okay, I was pissed from losing 3 games in a row, and I start playing super fast. So you can see in this opening, I take it. I take the pawn, that's gambited, and I do this line, which I know is not the best, and he checks me. He's into my position. It looks very scary, but then he blunders his knight. Okay, and I'm just playing super fast. You could see I've spent less than a minute. That's it. I spent a minute. It's move 15. Okay, my opponent spent almost 3 minutes, and 2 minutes of the game haven't even passed, and my opponent resigns because I find this nice move where I come in with check, and it's just completely dominating. Right, his queen is essentially out of the game. I can take this. It's very sad. So I got lucky. Right, if my opponent played better, I would have lost. But because I won, it gave me a little confidence. And in this 59% accuracy game, I tried to play fast. And I blunder. He doesn't see it. And I move my queen away from the protection of everything. And I actually spent a little bit of time on this move. Well, I guess I only spent 10 seconds, but I think I spent a little bit. Well, I felt like a little more thinking about it. And the idea was that I was okay with him taking this because I saw that this rook comes in. Yeah, you could take this. It's fine. My queen's going to do some action here, right? How is the queen going to do action on its own? Trying to take this pawn with check. That's what I was thinking. But it can't. It can't do action on its own. And this is what the position becomes. And, my best option here apparently was pushing this pawn. I didn't realize opening up this is the idea. It's crazy. It's crazy. I did not see that. Anyway, I keep checking, and I'm just clearly losing, and I don't realize the way to get rid of that pawn. And this is just a completely losing position. So I'll show you with the evaluation bar, because I know a lot of people like that. So here it's neutral. I was supposed to come here to target this pawn. And I guess if it comes here, maybe I come here, and now I have the target. Whatever, right? I don't do that. I bring it all the way down to try to trade queens, and he just gets into the position. Then he hangs a queen. He hangs a queen, and I'm just completely winning, and I'm thinking I could go for a drawn position, and I just mess it up. Look at this. My best move was to try to push pawns. And the crazy part is, well, that wouldn't work. This works because look, that doesn't work. I take, right? So I'm pushing this pawn unabided by anything. I thought I'm completely losing this position. And my opponent blunders, and I'm the idiot that I am blunders. Because the idea here is like, what do you do here? You lose the game. This is the idea, right? And then this comes back protecting the spot. Like, how crazy is that, man? How crazy? And you could probably come here with check, right? Like, oh my god. And you're just constantly watching these 2 pawns, and you could probably push for... I didn't see this. I was playing fast. I had 3 minutes left, but also I was just stupid. I was stupid because I lost a lot of games in a row. I'm trying to go for perpetual check when it doesn't even work. And that's it. He's clearly winning. And I'm going to lose this game. I can't push with these pawns. And he gives me a drawn game. I'm getting completely killed. All right? So I get the luckiest draw. In my life, playing such a shitty game. That's gonna make someone feel really good. So good that they play with 85% accuracy, completely demolishing their opponent. Look at this. I'm just, look at how many pawns I have, just completely demolishing my opponent. He cannot do anything. Look at the evaluation bar. And I just played it well. Right? The next game I played well. Game 17, I actually forgot to write down stuff for this. So we're going to learn a little bit together. But this ends up being a drawn game. And I try to develop everything. I remember this game. I try to make moves on this side of the board while controlling my opponent's things. But because I, got that drawn position, I'm feeling pretty good about myself. And this is how I play it. Now, I don't play the best moves. There's misses. There's mistakes. But I like that I bring my rook into the position. I like that I trade off material and try to go for an attack. But I don't like that I didn't recognize how maybe crazy this looks. Yeah. So the idea here, wow. Right? This actually stops the queen from coming in. But I don't know. Like maybe I push forward or push like this now. It's a very crazy position. Regardless, this is how the position kind of keeps going. My opponent messes up. Rook sacks are always nice. I'm guessing you bring this rook and you just completely demolish me. And I think my guess was right. Could come in with the bishop. I probably lose the queen or something. And here he still has the idea, doesn't see it. And I finally get into a position where I'm like doing pretty well. I have 2 minutes left on the clock. I decide to trade here. This is kind of sweet because if he, if he go, well, he's pinned, so he can't take my queen. And I'm attacking the queen. I'm trying to get closer. I have 10.9 seconds left, okay? I completely miss one move checkmate because I'm scared of the queen's... The queen is there. The queen's threat. I see the pawn is going to go. So I just trade, and I'm like, you know what? I am not going to lose this game. Okay, I've lost too many games in the past because of time. I have 5.9 seconds, 5.8, 5.7. I'm pre-moving everything. 2.4, 0.9, 0.8. I'm like, okay, that's it. I protect my rook. I'm going to get a queen, and that's it. This is checkmate. But I run out of time, and to be honest, he could have caught my rook if I wasn't careful. And, it's a drawn game. It's a drawn game where I was completely demolishing. But remember, the game before, I was completely demolishing, and I won. So a drawn game, especially after that lucky draw before, not the worst thing in the world. Next couple of games, I play with like 76% accuracy, just to show you that accuracy isn't everything. And my opponent wins my knight really early on. But I still fight. And I think that's important. I think the fact that I still fight and I'm putting so much pressure on his stuff, and I have, look at this beautiful connected pawns. Look at how sexy that is. He has the split. He has 3 sections. He has 3 sections of pawns here. Well, 4 actually. So it just looks terrible. And I blunder my pawn because I thought I'm in such a good position. I blunder my pawn, but I get into the position. I take his other pawn. He just blunders his rook, and at that point, I know I can win, and my opponent resigns. Yeah, that also felt like a really good game. So now, I have 19, 20, 21, 22. I have 4 games left. We have 4 games to go over, and again, blundering, whatever, doesn't matter. I'm just in the zone. I'm in the zone, and I win. And here, I blunder a knight. And bro, I'm telling you, the mental fortitude, the ability to be okay, but also, I'm not gonna lie, some of these games, for some reason, this game, I got matched up with a 1279, so I should have completely lost this game, but then I versed a 1400, a 1500, a 14, whatever. So, really, I should be versing mostly 1500s, but whatever. And I'm completely losing, but I spend some time to think, and my opponent messes up because his knight is under attack. And after that, I recognize I could just simplify and push my pawns nicely, and I fork it and I win. Okay. 86% accuracy against a 1400. Now I'm playing 15-minute games too, so I'm spending more time thinking. We have a video on time, right? I need more time in chess. And I lost like 1 or 2 games and today in these games because I didn't have enough time, or I drew them, right? So I'm clearly, thinking things through. We go to a simplified position. I'm up a piece, and my opponent resigns. Okay. Finally, I verse someone around my level, and I'm like, I'm not going to stop playing till I reach 1575. I don't know why. That's just the number I want to reach. And mind you, this is like 4 a.m., 4 or 5 a.m., okay? I fork this early on. I fork because I recognize that taking here, a lot of people love taking, right? I didn't think he would fall for it. I kind of did, and he does. He does, and I just simplify the position, and it's a little scary. I'm getting low on the time, but it's a 15-minute game. I have enough time, and I don't know the best moves to do. But again, I figure that simplifying is fine, and I just pick up the pawns, and here I screw up. Here I screw up because my opponent comes in with the knight to stop the checkmate threat, which I didn't really see. He takes, though, allowing me to take his knight. I take his rook, and that's it. It's a complete game changer. It's a complete loss now. And I get into the position, and we trade, and I mean, come on. Like, how are you going to win this game? I have a freaking knight. I could sack this knight, and I get my knight perfectly. I calculate perfectly situated, and that's it. It's game over. So I played with 1900 accuracy here, which is pretty cool. I'm feeling in the zone here, right? Again, the psychological aspect. I know I'm saying it a lot, and it's probably annoying, but here I blunder. I blunder because he could take this, and I don't know. This was kind of complicated. I don't know why my opponent resigns here. This is a pretty neutral position. Okay, like the blunder wasn't the lost game, but it looked pretty bad. Because after I check, he brings back with the bishop. I guess I'm just down a piece. But I have 2 pawns for it, so it's not like the end. So after all that, I'm now rated. I went a little bit above 1575, 1579. So thanks for watching, guys. I know it was a long video, but thank you. I appreciate it. And have a great one. Bye-bye.